Deep in the heartland of America sits a treasure trove of iron and steel that tells the story of our agricultural heritage. Keller's Retired Tractor Museum houses some of the rarest machines ever to roll off American assembly lines. Today, we're exploring 10 extraordinary tractors that revolutionized farming and became the stuff of legend. Number 10. John Deere 1929 Experimental. The 1929 Experimental represents John Deere's critical transition period from the early Dane experiments to what would become their legendary two-cylinder dynasty. This machine emerged during a time when Deere was still finding its footing in the tractor business, experimenting with various designs to compete with the Farmall. Theo Brown was tasked with producing a system that would allow simple tread width adjustment on the GP without the use of tools, axle swapping, or other extraneous parts. This experimental model featured innovative overhead steering systems and adjustable tread widths that were revolutionary for their time. The experimental general-purpose wide tread fits neatly into the Keller collection, which reflects the passions of three generations: Walter, his son, Bruce, and grandson, Jason. The tractor represented Deere's commitment to solving real farming problems. Farmers needed equipment that could adapt to different row widths without major modifications. What makes this tractor particularly special is its rarity. While Deere was producing various experimental models in limited numbers during this period, very few survived. The engineering innovations tested on these machines would later appear in production models, making them crucial stepping stones in John Deere's evolution. And this particular example showcases the transitional period when Deere was moving from experimental designs to the reliable workhorses that would dominate American farms for decades. For collectors and historians, it's a window into the creative problem-solving that built the John Deere empire. The experimental tractors of this era were built at various John Deere facilities, including the 10th Street plant in East Molen, Illinois. These machines served as rolling laboratories where engineers could test new concepts in real-world conditions. Many featured unique serial number plates and casting marks that help identify their experimental nature. The survival rate of these experimental units is extremely low. Most were either scrapped after testing or converted into production models, making any surviving example extraordinarily valuable to collectors and museums. Number 9. John Deere BW40. Among the rarest John Deere tractors ever produced, the BW40 holds a special place in agricultural history with only 6 units ever manufactured. These 6 tractors were built in 1936 as an ultra-specialized variant of the Model B series. They featured a remarkably narrow 40-inch minimum rear tread width, adjustable up to 72 inches, while the front was adjustable up to 52 inches. This extreme adjustability made them suitable for unique farming applications that standard models couldn't handle. The BW40 was essentially a specialized variant of the Model B, designed for farmers with unique row spacing requirements. It featured a 2-cylinder engine producing approximately 16 horsepower at the belt and 11.8 horsepower at the drawbar with a 4-speed transmission. The tractor weighed 3,275 pounds and measured 120.5 inches in length, 85 inches in width, and 56 inches in height. It carried 12 gallons in its main fuel tank with an additional 1-gallon auxiliary tank for gasoline starting. What drove John Deere to produce such a limited run remains somewhat of a mystery, though it likely filled a very specific agricultural niche. The BW designation indicated it was a wide-front Model B variant, but the B, 40 inches, referred to its unique narrow tread capability. These tractors were built during the unstyled era of John Deere production, before the famous industrial designer Henry Dreyfuss transformed the look of John Deere tractors in 1938. Today, finding one of these 6 tractors is like discovering buried treasure. Their rarity has made them incredibly valuable, with collectors willing to pay premium prices for the chance to own this piece of John Deere history. The production records show serial numbers for the BW40 were interspersed with regular B production, suggesting they were built to special order rather than as a planned production run. Each unit was essentially hand-modified from standard B components, with special attention paid to the narrow rear axle housing and unique wheel spacing mechanisms. The Marvel-Schiebler carburetor and 22-quart cooling system were standard B components, but the frame modifications required for the narrow configuration made each BW40 a custom-built machine. This level of factory customization was rare for the era and demonstrates John Deere's commitment to meeting specific customer needs. Number 8. John Deere Model B, serial B1000. Serial number B1000 represents the very first production Model B to roll off the assembly line at John Deere's Waterloo, Iowa factory in October 1934, with full production beginning in early 1935. This historic machine launched a production run that would eventually total over 300,000 units through 1952, making it one of the most successful tractor models in agricultural history. The early production registers show that B1000 through approximately B12000 were built in the first year, establishing the model as an immediate success. The Model B was John Deere's answer to smaller farms that needed reliable power but couldn't justify the larger Model A. The tractor was equipped with a 2-cylinder side-by-side engine, producing 14 horsepower at the drawbar and 18 at the belt in its initial configuration. The engine displaced 149 cubic inches with a bore of 4.25 inches and stroke of 5.25 inches, running at 975 revolutions per minute. Both gasoline and kerosene-fueled versions were available, with the kerosene models featuring a small gasoline starting tank. What makes Serial B1000 particularly special is its place as the patriarch of the B family. This first unit represented years of development work by John Deere engineers who sought to create a smaller, more affordable alternative to their successful Model A. The tractor featured the classic John Deere 2-cylinder Johnny Popper engine that would become legendary for its distinctive sound and bulletproof reliability. Owning the first production model of any tractor line is special, but having the first Model B is extraordinary given the model's massive impact on American agriculture. It represents the moment when John Deere truly democratized mechanized farming, bringing tractor power within reach of smaller operations. The significance of serial number B1000 extends beyond mere collectability. This tractor established design standards that would influence John Deere engineering for decades. Its thermosiphon cooling system, gear-driven magneto-ignition, and hand-clutch operation set patterns that thousands of farmers would come to trust. The tractor originally sold for approximately $575, making it accessible to farmers who previously relied on horses. Production records indicate that early B models like Serial 1000 featured numerous hand-fitted parts and careful assembly that later mass production would standardize. Today, this first Model B represents not just a machine, but the beginning of a farming revolution that helped feed America through the Depression, World War II, and beyond. Number 7. John Deere Orchard Tractors. The John Deere Orchard tractors, including designations like the 12EI, AO, BO, and 60O, represent a specialized niche in agricultural machinery designed specifically for the unique challenges of fruit cultivation. These low-profile machines were engineered with special shielding and modified exhaust systems to slip under low-hanging branches without damaging valuable fruit trees. The orchard variants featured relocated air intakes and exhausts positioned below the hood line, along with special citrus fenders that completely enclosed the rear wheels to prevent snagging on low branches. During the 1930s and 1940s, orchard farming was becoming increasingly mechanized, but standard tractors posed significant challenges. Their tall profiles and protruding parts could snag branches, damage fruit, and make navigation between closely planted trees nearly impossible. John Deere responded with specially modified versions of their popular models, creating machines that combined the reliability of their standard tractors with orchard-specific adaptations. The modifications included lowered operator positions, fully enclosed engines, and streamlined bodywork that allowed branches to slide harmlessly over the tractor. These machines had features that set them apart from standard models. The operator's seat was lowered significantly, sometimes by as much as 8-10 inches, and steering wheels were often mounted at unusual angles to maintain proper ergonomics in the lowered position. Sheet metal fairings covered every possible snag point, and even tools and accessories were stored in special compartments to maintain the smooth profile. The streamlined design wasn't just functional, it represented a new approach to specialized agricultural equipment that considered the total farming system rather than just the tractor itself. John Deere wasn't alone in the orchard tractor market. Competitors like International Harvester, Allis-Chalmers, and Oliver all produced their own versions. However, John Deere's approach was particularly thoughtful, often incorporating feedback from California and Florida fruit growers into their designs. Some models, like the GPO Lindemann, even featured crawler tracks instead of wheels for better traction on hillside orchards. Production numbers for orchard models were always limited compared to standard tractors as they served a specialized market. This limited production, combined with the hard use many received in commercial orchards, makes surviving examples extremely rare and valuable today. Number 6. Minneapolis Molen U model. The Minneapolis Molen U series stands as one of the most successful and influential tractor lines of the 1940s and 1950s, with production spanning from 1938 to 1959. With approximately 80,000 units produced across all variants out of Minneapolis, Molen's total production of 331,481 tractors, the U-Series became the backbone of the company's success and a favorite among American farmers. The U-Series included numerous variants: the row crop UTU, standard tread UTS, industrial UTL, high crop variants, and the famous luxury UDLX comfort tractor. The standard U model featured a robust 283 cubic inch 4-cylinder engine producing around 40 horsepower at the drawbar, making it a true workhorse for medium-sized farms. The engine's high compression design allowed it to run on gasoline, distillate, or LP gas, giving farmers flexibility in fuel choice. The 5-speed transmission provided excellent pulling power, and the hand clutch operation was smooth and reliable. But what truly set the U-Series apart was its versatility. Minneapolis Molen offered more variants and configurations than almost any other manufacturer. The UDLX comfort tractor, introduced in 1938, was revolutionary but ultimately unsuccessful commercially. Only 125 units were produced before production stopped in 1941, largely due to its $2,155 price tag, double that of competing tractors. It featured a fully enclosed cab with a heater, radio, windshield wipers, and even a passenger seat. The cab used safety glass throughout and included amenities like a cigarette lighter and ashtray. Despite its commercial failure, the UDLX pioneered operator comfort features that wouldn't become standard for another 30 years. The U-Series earned legendary status for reliability and longevity. Farmers often remarked that no one ever lived long enough to wear out a U, and many examples are still working today. The tractors featured exceptionally robust construction with heavy cast frames, precision machined gears, and overbuilt components throughout. The distinctive prairie gold paint scheme made them instantly recognizable in the field. One farmer reported a U diesel that worked over 1,000 hours annually for decades without major repairs. This reliability, combined with excellent parts availability even today, makes the U-Series highly collectible. The various models showcase Minneapolis Molen's engineering excellence and their understanding of farmers' diverse needs. Number 5. John Deere 4-Wheel Drive Classics 8010 8020. The John Deere 8010 represents one of the most ambitious and ultimately troubled chapters in the company's history. Introduced in 1959 and showcased at the Robert Ottley Seed Farm north of Marshalltown, Iowa, it was John Deere's first attempt at building their own 4-wheel drive articulated tractor. The 8010 featured a 6-cylinder GM6 71 Detroit diesel engine producing 215 horsepower, making it the most powerful tractor John Deere had ever built. The massive machine featured articulated steering, a 9-speed transmission, and weighed approximately 19,700 pounds. The 8010's innovative features included a Spicer-built transmission, air brakes, and power steering, all cutting-edge technology for agricultural equipment in 1960. However, the Spicer transmission proved to be the tractor's Achilles heel. The units experienced severe overheating problems that caused seal failures, which in turn soaked the clutches in oil and rendered them inoperable. Field failures were catastrophic and frequent, damaging John Deere's reputation for reliability. The company made the unprecedented decision to recall all 100 units for factory rebuilding. The recall and rebuild program was one of the most expensive in John Deere's history, reportedly threatening the financial stability of the tractor division. Engineers replaced the faulty Spicer transmissions with John Deere-built units, upgraded the cooling systems, replaced all 4 tires, changed seats, and essentially rebuilt each tractor from the ground up. When returned to customers, these rebuilt units carried new serial number plates identifying them as 8020 models, though mechanically they were completely different machines. Today, only one original 8010 is known to exist in unmodified form, the one in the Keller collection. This survivor reportedly remained at a John Deere facility where it was used with forklift attachments for loading equipment. The remaining 99 units became 8020s, making the Keller 8010 possibly the rarest production John Deere tractor in existence. The 8010-8020 experience taught John Deere valuable lessons about four-wheel drive technology. The company retreated from the market, purchasing Wagner tractors as a stopgap before successfully launching their own 7020 and 7520 models in the early 1970s. The 8010 story remains a cautionary tale about the risks of pioneering new technology, but also demonstrates John Deere's commitment to making things right with their customers. Number 4. International Harvester High Clearance Models. The International Harvester High Clearance variants, including models designated with H suffixes like potential 110H and 140H3 variants, represent specialized engineering for specific agricultural needs. These high-crop tractors were factory modifications of standard models designed for cultivating tall-growing crops like corn, cotton, sugarcane, and vegetables throughout the growing season. The high-clearance design provided crucial extra inches of space between the tractor's undercarriage and the crop, preventing damage to valuable plants during late-season cultivation. International Harvester's approach to high-clearance tractors involved extensive modifications beyond simply raising the chassis. The company redesigned final drive housings, extended wheel spindles, and modified steering geometry to maintain stability despite the elevated center of gravity. Drop boxes at each wheel provided the additional height while maintaining proper gear ratios. These modifications typically added 16 inches of clearance compared to standard models, allowing farmers to cultivate crops well into maturity. The engineering required careful attention to maintaining proper weight distribution and stability, especially when turning at row ends. What makes these high-clearance variants particularly rare is their limited production numbers and specialized market. They cost significantly more than standard models, often 25 to 30% premium, and appealed only to farmers with specific crop requirements. The complexity of their design made them more challenging to maintain, requiring specialized knowledge and parts. Many were subjected to particularly demanding conditions, working in muddy fields and making tight turns that stressed the modified components. Additionally, when these specialized tractors reached the end of their useful life, many were scrapped rather than preserved, as their unusual configuration made them less desirable for general farm use. The International Harvester Farmall series included several high-clearance models throughout its production history. The Farmall H became the HV, high-clearance vegetable. The M became the MV, and later, models continued this tradition. Some variants, like the 140 High Clear, featured extreme modifications that made them look almost alien compared to their standard counterparts. The company also produced special hillside versions with adjusted wheel spacing for orchard work on slopes. Today, these high-clearance variants are among the most sought-after collectible tractors, prized for their unique appearance and engineering. Their rarity stems from limited production, hard use, and high attrition rates, making any well-preserved example a significant find for collectors. Number 3. John Deere 318 Garden Tractor. The John Deere 318, produced from 1983 to 1992, represents the pinnacle of garden tractor engineering and has achieved a legendary status among enthusiasts. While the reference to a Vanguard model from 1986 likely refers to popular engine repowers rather than a factory variant, the standard 318 itself was extraordinary. Originally equipped with an 18-horsepower Onan P218G twin-cylinder engine, the 318 featured a robust design that made it suitable for repowering with various engines, including the popular 23-horsepower Briggs and Stratton Vanguard V-twin conversions that became common in later years. The 318's exceptional build quality set it apart from typical garden tractors. It featured a heavy-duty Sunstrand hydrostatic transmission, power steering, and a hydraulic lift system that could handle ground-engaging implements with ease. The tractor's frame was substantially heavier than competitors, using thick steel and robust welding throughout. The rear differential was sourced from Peerless and built to automotive standards. With available attachments including front-end loaders, 3-point hitches, tillers, snow blowers, and mowers ranging from 46 to 60 inches, The 318 bridged the gap between garden tractors and compact utility tractors. What makes the 318 particularly special is its incredible longevity and the devoted following it has developed. Many units have logged thousands of hours with only routine maintenance, testament to their over-engineered design. The popularity of engine repowers, particularly with Vanguard engines, speaks to the tractor's fundamental soundness. Owners would rather upgrade the engine than replace the entire machine. The conversion process, while requiring mechanical skill, has been well documented by the enthusiast community, with detailed instructions and support available from specialists who cater specifically to 318 owners. The 318's collectability has soared in recent years as people recognize these machines represent the last generation of truly heavy-duty garden tractors. John Deere's later models, while capable, never quite matched the 318's combination of features, durability, and versatility. Original low-hour examples command premium prices, while nicely repowered units are equally sought after by those who want maximum capability. The active online community, availability of parts, and cottage industry of upgrades ensure these tractors will remain viable for decades to come. For many owners, the 318 isn't just a garden tractor. It's a family heirloom passed down through generations. Number 2. John Deere 420 Garden Tractor. The John Deere 420 garden tractor, produced from 1983 to 1991, not 1974 as sometimes mistakenly referenced, stands as the flagship of John Deere's garden tractor line during the 1980s. This remarkable machine featured a 20-horsepower Onan P220 G-twin-cylinder engine paired with a heavy-duty hydrostatic transmission that included both high and low ranges. The combination of power, transmission flexibility, and robust construction made the 420 capable of tasks typically reserved for much larger compact utility tractors. The 420's impressive feature list included power steering, hydraulic 3-point hitch with draft control, differential lock, and compatibility with an extensive range of attachments. The tractor could handle everything from 60-inch mower decks to front-end loaders, tillers, snow blowers, and various 3-point implements. Its high-low transmission gave it exceptional versatility, low range for demanding tasks like tilling or loader work, and high range that allowed transport speeds up to 12 miles per hour. The hydraulic system was particularly sophisticated for a garden tractor, providing smooth, precise control of attachments. What set the 420 apart was its commercial-grade construction. The frame, axles, and drivetrain components were massively overbuilt compared to typical garden tractors. Many 420s have accumulated thousands of hours in commercial landscaping operations, testament to their durability. The tractor weighed nearly 1,000 pounds without attachments, giving it the mass needed for serious ground engagement work. Original cost was substantial, often exceeding $7,000 with common attachments, but owners considered it an investment in equipment that would last decades rather than years. Today, the 420 has achieved cult status among garden tractor enthusiasts. Finding a well-maintained example with original attachments has become increasingly difficult as owners recognize their irreplaceable nature. Common issues include wear in the hydrostatic transmission and steering components, but parts availability remains good thanks to strong aftermarket support. Many owners report their 420s still perform like new after 40 years of service. The model represents the last of John Deere's truly heavy-duty garden tractors before the market shifted toward lighter, less expensive designs. For those who need maximum capability in a compact package, the 420 remains unmatched even by modern offerings. Number 1. John Deere 4010. The John Deere 4010 stands as one of the most revolutionary tractors in agricultural history, marking the end of John Deere's beloved two-cylinder era and ushering in the new generation of power. Deere & Company orchestrated one of the most ambitious product launches in industrial history, chartering airplanes to fly more than 5,000 dealers and guests to Dallas, Texas on August 30th, 1960. The event, held simultaneously at the Cotton Bowl and inside Neiman Marcus, demonstrated John Deere's confidence in their revolutionary new line. The 4010 featured a 6-cylinder engine producing 84 PTO horsepower, nearly doubling the power of the two-cylinder model 730 it replaced. But raw power was just part of the story. The 4010 introduced the revolutionary synchro-range transmission with 8 forward speeds that could be shifted on the go, closed-center hydraulics providing 2,250 pounds per square inch for precise implement control, and the innovative oval-shaped operator platform that provided unprecedented comfort and visibility. The industrial designer Henry Dreyfuss created the sleek styling that would define John Deere's appearance for decades. The 4010's impact on American agriculture cannot be overstated. It brought automotive-style comfort and convenience to tractor operation while delivering unprecedented power and efficiency. Features like power steering, comfortable seating, and convenient controls transformed the operator experience. The closed-center hydraulic system provided consistent implement control regardless of engine speed, while the power shift transmission option allowed clutchless shifting through all 8 gears. Over 57,847 units were built during its production run from 1960 to 1963, making it one of John Deere's best-selling models of the era despite its premium price. The 4010 program required John Deere to invest over $50 million in new factories and tooling, an astronomical sum for 1960. The gamble paid off spectacularly as farmers embraced the new technology despite initial skepticism about the 6-cylinder engine. The tractor's reliability proved exceptional, with many units still working today after 6 decades of service. Available in row crop, standard, high crop, and industrial configurations, the 4010 met diverse farming needs. For collectors, it represents a pivotal moment when American agriculture stepped into the modern era. Original, unrestored examples are highly prized, particularly those with rare options like power shift transmission or factory cabs. These 10 rare tractors represent more than just machinery. They're rolling monuments to American innovation and the farmers who fed our nation. From experimental models that pushed boundaries to production tractors that defined eras, each tells a unique story of agricultural progress. Whether it's the one-of-a-kind 8010 or the 6BW40S ever built, these machines showcase the ingenuity and determination that built American agriculture. If you enjoyed this journey through Keller's collection, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We've got more incredible machinery stories coming your way. Until next time, keep those memories alive and that iron rolling.